Welcome to LinkedUp, Breaking Boundaries in Education, a podcast that focuses on what is happening in education today, connecting everyone to the movers and shakers that are breaking boundaries in the education arena.
Welcome to LinkedUp, Breaking Boundaries in Education. Jerry, it's always so great when we have a repeat guest. I don't know if Manuel's second or third, but I am so excited. And I know that I'm going to feel kind of like the outcast with a lot of doodle talk here, expert doodlers, but I'm so excited for today's guest today.
We're so excited to introduce our guest, Manuel Herrera. And as you know, he's a doodle artist and a doodle dad. And he's much, much more. And, you know, Jamie, we haven't talked to him in a little bit. And so I am so anxious to catch up and see what he's up to. Every time he presents, I am like on the front row.
I know.
Because I learned so much from him. And I love to see artistry with technology. I think that's a secret sauce that not very many people have, and Manuel certainly has it. So welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much, Jamie, Jerry. It's always great to see you. I know, we were just talking earlier, typically we see each other at conferences. So yeah, this is nice to do this again and kind of slow down a little bit, right? It's always like, hi, bye. So yeah, I'm excited to spend some time again. So yeah, thank you for having me.
It's so great. You know, I think the first time we met in person, and maybe the first time we met, was at South by Southwest EDU. And you were doing a terrific session, which the compass, right?
The innovator compass. Yeah.
Yes.
Innovator compass.
Yeah.
The innovator compass, which you use often still, Jerry, right? With certain things. I know you've.
Yes, I even had it in my book.
Yes, that was it. Yes.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah, I know. It's terrific. But also what I loved about it, and this is so interesting too, because Jerry, I know that you downplay your doodles. I think they're exceptional. They bring me joy. But you love to learn from Manuel and his expertise as a doodler. And I think that's so interesting because I literally need the help. You are already there, yet you learn, as you said, so much from Manuel. And that's what that session was so great about, because Manuel, you kind of just broke it down and kind of like stripped the fear of, because sometimes people do have fear of drawing.
100%.
And you strip it down and you kind of just show the basics and just make it so, make it seem so easy. And then you push your way about you. So that's why your sessions are so great, because you're like, everyone can do this. Everyone should do this. And here's how to break it down. And it was interesting too, because my daughter had just started college around that time as an industrial design major. And she really didn't feel like she was great at drawing, but that's really what her job. She has to do that for prototyping and things like that. Now she's terrific. And she actually ended up doing graphics design as a side hustle. While she was in college. So it kind of like, it's therapy, it's communication, it's so much. So like, how did you get involved with doodling? How did it, come into your world? And how were you able to bring it to others?
Well, thank you. Those are really nice words. I love that is coming across when I present, because part of it is just that. It's just easing people's mind about drawing, because as soon as you say drawing, either your mind goes to, I can't do it, or childish, or it's art, and it doesn't apply.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've drawn my entire life. I've been drawing since I was a kid. I definitely have to probably thank my Aunt Nora, who lived next door to me, and she kind of collected all of us as kids, cousins, and we'd always go to her house. And she was always like paper, pen, markers, Play-Doh, Lego, whatever. She was always encouraging us to create and express ourselves. And so as I got it, as I started school, probably upper grade levels, middle school, high school, I would notice that I wouldn't say I noticed, I was more so in trouble, like we had mentioned earlier, because I was just doodling in margins, drawing, and because I have a hard time focusing. And that was just a way for me to draw nothing with something mindless, but still be paying attention. And I don't think I really knew that's what was happening. I think it was just this natural thing that I did to slow my mind a little bit. And eventually, especially college, I noticed it. I wasn't just kind of doodling in the margins to pay attention, I was then starting to draw some of the things that they were saying. And so at the time, again, didn't really have a name other than, just drawing or doodling your notes kind of thing. And that's really what I did. And then when I got into, even in high school, college, you got in trouble. This isn't how you note take. We got to do it the right way.
Yeah.
So fast forward, I kind of just did it all through, as a kid growing up. And then fast forward to me teaching. So I started teaching in 2003. I taught middle school, special ed, and then math as well, 8th grade math. And I would notice that sometimes with my special ed kids, mostly, I had kids where I would follow them to different classes. We called it inclusion in Texas. I was in Round Rock.
Yeah.
And so I would travel with my group of kids, 4 or 5 kids, through all the core content areas. So when I started teaching, I was kind of having to relearn a lot of these content areas like science, social studies. And so typically I would take my own notes and draw them out. And then when I would have to go back and reteach my students or kind of review with my students, I would use some of those same strategies, but not as a strategy. It was just my way of, this is how I understand it. Let me show you a way that might help. And it was interesting because the kids took to it. I think also it was like, oh, we're not really working, we're drawing. They felt like they were getting away with something. But what I found interesting also was that teachers didn't like it. So the core teachers that I would work with, they didn't like it. They said, Mr. Herrera, we are a Cornell note taking school. We need kids to take Cornell notes. They're preparing them for college. This is how they have to do it. And I'm 48. I've yet to use Cornell notes. So I don't know what real world it is that they're talking about. Anyways, it was something interesting that I saw and the kids just taking to it. Fast forward even more when I became a tech coach. A technology coordinator. I was a one-to-one coordinator in a couple of different districts. I was the guy that had all the technology in the classroom or in my class. So kids would come to my classroom to check out technology, whether it was an extra Chromebook or an iPad or a webcam or a camera. Kids would come to me and check that stuff out. But what I found was that kids were checking equipment out to do projects, but they really didn't know what it was that they were trying to create. They just knew, okay, Miss So-and-so or Mr. So-and-so said, hey, make a video, make a presentation, make a poster. So when kids would come in, I would sit and talk with them like, hey, let's talk about this. What is it you're creating? What is it you're having to make? And they would just like, I don't really know. And so like, well, let's talk about it. And so I would draw with them.
Right. Yeah.
And just tell me, I'm going to try to see what I can capture. And then when they would grab pens and pencils and start to contribute, like, that's what, like, okay, this is kind of cool. They're understanding how to come up with an idea, how to develop an idea before they grab the iPad or before they grab a Chromebook. Because that seemed to be what it was. At the time we were rolling out all this technology, and this was probably 2015, maybe. We're pushing Chromebooks, we're pushing iPads, but we're not really showing kids how to create and design with them. So at least the process behind all that. So, yeah. I mean, it's kind of been sprinkled in throughout my teaching career and as a kid. So it's kind of nice that now here I am full circle. I'm getting to share with teachers and educators about this. That's a long kind of answer, but I mean, it's kind of always been embedded in everything I do. And I know it's intimidating. I know it's hard because some people just don't draw. And so I try to make it fun. I try to make it exciting. I try to make it accessible. And I think when I can combine all of those, people are excited again. Okay, well, maybe I can do this. Okay, I can make that doodle. I can draw that bird, or I can draw that whatever. And, I do emphasize, it's not just about a drawing, of an object or a thing. You can still label it. You can still use text. You can still use words and draw lines to connect things. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Right.
You're getting that idea, wherever it is, out of your head onto some paper. And now I can kind of see maybe all the pieces that connects to it. May not be for everybody, but it's definitely a strategy that's, proven by research and supported through, brain science. We were talking, Jamie, you were talking earlier about just people doodling in the margins. That's supported by research. They conducted studies that is just a way people focus, that it is. If it's mindless and you're not even drawing or writing what is being said, you're still retaining that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the way that they process information, synthesize, make connections. Whether it's, doodling what the concept is or just doodling in general, it helps them to process. So those tactile learners. But I mean, and I like to draw. It doesn't look good, but it does help me in coming up with a plan or understanding a concept. I need to see it. So it's a combination of being visual. For me, it's being visual and I need to see it. But it is. And I love how you open up that opportunity for students and as another avenue, but then also for adults in what, in the conferences you go to and the different ways that you connect with adults. So it really is a gift, honestly, that you give. So let's talk about those conferences actually, and the sessions that you do. And we have ISTE coming up as we record this. What are some of the sessions that people really like to go to? And what is it that you realize that you want to share with them when you're talking doodle?
But before you answer that, let me
Yes.
just add this in for people that don't know. When you go to his sessions, there is a line out the
Yeah.
door.
I have it here. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
people want and not just like to go to,
Well,
they are popular,
Yeah.
very popular. I
Right.
just want people to know that
oh,
this
thank
is
you. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's kind of cool to see that. It's kind of cool to see that, people are excited about drawing and how, especially now, just today, we're just so encompassed by tech everywhere, and we hadn't even talked about
Yeah.
AI yet. So to get people to kind of go back to drawing, and you can have digital drawing. It doesn't always have to be on paper pencil. I like paper pencil because it's just accessible. Note cards are accessible.
You do both, Jerry, right?
yes.
You do both.
I do it on the iPad.
Yeah, I do it on the iPad.
I think
Okay.
For the most part, when I do, if I'm somewhere working, I'm using my iPad. But sometimes if I'm just learning myself or I'm putting a presentation together, I like note cards. Note cards, you can move them around.
Ew.
But yeah, the sessions I typically offer, I usually do a couple. One's just on sketchnoting. So what is sketchnoting? What does that mean? How does that work? And that's really about the note-taking process. Like I'm consuming information in some way. And then I want to capture that visually. And so that's what that workshop is about. Equally, I think they're probably equal. The other one is called kind of sketch your thinking. So that's more of like, I'm trying to get ideas out of my head and communicate it out. So that's a different kind of drawing. I'm not listening to things. I'm now coming with my own ideas or using my own research and creating some kind of visual for me. So for example, I'm actually working with a friend of mine. We're talking about podcasting. And where does visual thinking fit into that? And so kind of sketching your thinking with that would be like, maybe we're just mind mapping and we're starting with a simple idea in the middle. I'm a kid and I want to make a podcast and I love Minecraft. Well, you could make a lot of podcast, episodes about Minecraft. So kind of just brainstorm. What do you like? I like gameplay. I like the builds. I like the different characters. I like, and then build off of that and kind of create this visual of everything that you might be, you love about Minecraft. So that's a way of using visual thinking. Great. Now I've got all these episodes. Maybe when it comes, kind of fast forward in the process a little bit, maybe we're planning out the 10 minutes or 15 minutes that we're going to do for a podcast. Well, we can storyboard that out. We can plan that out. What are we going to say? What's the transition? What are the music cues that might come in? So if you have somebody who has a role as a director for a podcast, that student might be the one who's going to storyboard everything out because I've got to share with everyone, this is how I see this kind of playing out in the next 10 minutes or whatever, however long you're doing it. So, and those are important. So those are the two sessions I kind of offer. One about drawing your notes and one about drawing your ideas. So yeah, I think there was another question in there. So I'm doing both of those at ISTE this year. So both of them will be there, as well as a playground, which I'm excited about. We'll talk about that, I guess, in a little bit.
what do you do on the playground?
So the playground, I'm excited. I'm setting myself up. So we're doing a creativity playground. It's all about accessibility. But my kind of session off to the side of the playground is we're going to do a doodle booth. So we're going to have a booth where people will come and it's called Drawn Together. And the idea is that we're supposed to, engage with one another, communicate with one another, share, get to know each other. And so we'll have a table there in our playground, and you come and sit in front of me, and we chat for 2 or 3 minutes. I'll have some questions to ask just to get to learn who you are. Why are you here? Is this your first ISTE? What are you learning? What are you excited about? What connections are you making? And so as we're kind of sharing, I'm going to draw the person. So I'll doodle their face, I guess their head, and then I will print them out, and you'll get, I think we're going to have 3 copies. You'll get 3 copies of a print of your doodle. And then the idea is that you're going to take that and you're going to put it on a large mural that we have. And so hopefully in the end, we're going to have a mural of portraits. And then one you get to keep. So one is yours, one goes in the mural. And then the idea is the other one, you want to go trade with somebody that you met that has another doodle. So it's kind of an interactive activity where you get to know somebody, talk to somebody, tell me about your doodle, tell me about your response. And then you kind of have this trading card in the end. So yeah, I'm really excited about power of doodling,
We'll be here.
power of drawing. So yeah, stop by, please stop by.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm excited to be able to do that and print that. So we'll take that, we'll have that mural, we'll take it down to another playground later. We'll continue doing the Drawn Together booth at another playground. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I've done it now a few different times with different groups. And it's been a lot of fun. I just did it in DC at a Digital Promise event. We kind of did a Drawn Together. Folks came and stopped in. They answered. We did it at the end of the conference, towards the end of the day. And it was more of a reflection feedback. And so the prompts were there. And while I chatted with them, I drew their feedback on there, and I drew a picture of them, and then we printed it, and they got to keep a copy and they got to put a copy on the wall. So it's kind of cool.
Have you written books or illustrated books or both?
Illustrated. So more so illustrated books. I'm actually working on a book right now, as in writing, but yeah. So I've illustrated a few different books. Oh man. I don't even know how many. I've done 3 children's books. I have not written them, but I have illustrated them, and it's been a lot of fun. They've educators who have reached out about illustrating books. So I've illustrated books.
Yeah.
I did one recently. That was a lot of fun. I'm going to show it because I like this. Is probably my favorite book. This one's called The Fun Book.
Fun book.
It's a kid's board book. So it's kind of one of those, you read the toddler.
Yeah, I love this.
So these are a lot of fun.
Yes.
I did this with a local news reporter here on our local channel. She reached out and said, "Hey, would you want to do this?" And I said, "Yeah." And it's kind of cool. Like
No
it's got
way.
a in here and everything.
Oh, that's amazing.
Kind of cool. So I did this book
Wow.
last year, and then I recently we just released another book that I've done. I have it here called How We Thrive, and I did this with Stephanie Malia Krause. She's an educator, a strategist, and an author, and she works with students and organizations on holistic strategies for students. So it's all about kind of tapping back into the human side of things. What's cool is I got to do some of the spot illustrations as well. There's some spot illustrations in here. I know those are hard to see, but I also got to do some sketch notes in here, which was kind of cool. So there's some helpful sketch notes at the end that kind of recap. Again, I know you can't read it, but
Nice.
recap the different sections of the book, which has been a lot of fun. So I need to do a little better job without promoting this. It's just I've been so busy. But yeah, so this is the second book that I've done with Stephanie. Again, she's the author. She's kind of the brains behind it. I listen to her, and then I draw what I kind of think comes to my mind, which is, I guess, my superpower.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I'm working on another book right now with another educator, but top secret. Can't say quite just yet, but yeah, be writing this time. So, and this will be a little bit about student voice, storytelling. How do I incorporate drawing and doodling into that? And then we might sprinkle a little AI around there, just enough. So,
Just
enough.
That's interesting that you say that because sometimes people that are artists do not like AI art. Do you use any AI in your work, or how do you see a place for it with what you do?
In my work, That's just not, no, I don't. Not that all my art is drawn. Now I've used it to like kind of help generate ideas. I've talked to a customer,
Yes.
client, and we've got a project. And so I might use it to kind of explore ideas deeper, especially in topics
Right.
that I'm not familiar with. That's super, super helpful.
Yes.
I think there is some value in it, for sure. I mean, obviously there's value in AI. There's tons of it. But I'm trying to find this nice connection between AI and using drawing as a way of thinking. So I've been recently working through some like visual thinking strategies and what I come up with. So I might come up with say, for example, an artifact, a sketchnote of some sort, or some doodles that I've created about a project that I'm thinking of. So I've been kind of throwing that in AI and asking it to create an outline, or asking it to pull themes, or asking it to just kind of analyze that. What do you notice? What do you see? Just to see what I can get back from that. And so, I'm finding some interesting things. So great. There's some applications for, the classroom here. So if I have a student who is a visual person and we want them to draw, maybe they're doing a simple, let's take this for an example. It's a narrative. A student has to write a narrative or a story. And it's going to struggle. I've struggled with that. Where do I start? That whole blank page.
Yes.
But maybe if we're doing something that's an about me, or a central topic, say a central topic, they draw the central topic in the middle, and then they kind of draw this kind of hub and spoke diagram, and there's little icons around it. So if we did do, maybe we'll say an about me, I did an about me, I'll draw me in the middle, and I might draw, I like to draw, I like to eat tacos, I like to ride my bike, I like to, kind of just do all of this around. That student now has this visual in front of them that they need to turn into a story. Well, maybe that's something that we could put into AI. Hey, can you outline this for me? And so there's no writing being done, but now a student has a little bit of a structure that they could use. And that's kind of where I would work with a language arts teacher, a writing coach. Like, how do we make this work? How does this fit in?
Yeah.
So yeah, we're taking students' ideas and just kind of helping them move along the process.
It's a great schedule. It's a great schedule. Yeah. I love that. I love that. That's true. It's funny because I'm writing a book and I did all of my graphics in Claude, but I gave them to my daughter, who is going to build them in Adobe in a different way. So it's basically like, my ideas that I was able to get out in Claude. And now she's going to be the illustrator of the book by using Adobe.
Let's reference images. I mean, artists use those all the time. We use reference images, all the time. You just use Claude. Right. She's taking it. Okay, I know she wants it to look like, or not look, but maybe have this composition. So now I can take that, and I can yeah, I do that. I mean, I do that all the time. Where I need somebody sitting at a desk like this. So I may go look up person sitting at a desk with arms crossed. And I will look at them and give me, an idea of what I need to draw. Because I can't always picture all the intricate things of the body poses and, or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
So no, that's a great way. That's a great example of how you can use AI in the creative.
Yes.
So Jamie, I wonder, do you have a piece of paper nearby and a pen?
Me? Yeah.
Me?
And I want you, the most significant thing you had us do at a workshop that I loved was you told us to scribble.
Oh, yeah.
Can you do that with us?
I can walk you through it. I don't think I can show my.
Yeah. So Jamie and I'll do it.
Oh, can I show my screen?
And it takes no art talent whatsoever.
Zero.
Let's see if I can do that. Okay. Well,
zero.
I'm going to do it on my iPad. I'll just put it up to the camera. So,
okay.
Here, Jamie, on your piece of paper.
Okay.
I just want you to draw some squiggles. Like this. And this is what I mean by squiggles. Like literally just like.
Okay.
I mean, you could draw like 5 or 6 of them. I just drew 2. I'll draw 3. Yeah, just kind of like loop do squiggles.
I'm doing it too.
Yep. So it should look something like that.
Yes. Oh,
lovely. Perfect. Okay. So now what if I told you that we're going to turn these into birds? And I'm going to show you.
I love it.
So
You're out of your mind.
I'm going to start
That's what
this
I
one here, and I'm going to add the parts of a bird that make a bird a bird. If that makes any sense. Oops. All birds have beaks. All birds
Okay.
have eyes. So all birds have beaks. So that's just a triangle and an eye. All birds have legs.
I wish I had my color.
And if you're fancy, they could have a tail feather. I'm going to see if I can connect this. I wonder if I can. That might be easy.
I am loving this
I have orange.
because
Okay.
it makes something out of nothing.
Okay.
It
So let me
does.
see again. So you said beak and eye, legs.
Beak,
What
eye,
else did you do? Is that it?
beak, eye, legs. And then sometimes some birds have like a little tail feather.
Oh wow! Look, I
mean,
have
you know,
something going on here.
And that my friend,
Is
is the bird. Well, I'm going to try another one. And I use a different color just for a dramatic effect. Usually when I work with kids, I just have them use one color. Because then we don't get caught up in, the sun has to be yellow. My cow has to be blue.
okay.
There's another bird. I put the little squiggle on top of his head to make him
Oh, I like.
chicken. Because kids will say, "What's a
Yes.
chicken?" Well, a chicken is a bird. I promise this is going somewhere, Jamie.
No, it's working for me.
See? Don't you love it?
So,
I too.
so I'll do one more bird. And so let's see if I can get that too. So I've got 3 birds there. So when I do this in person, I ask you to create 5 or 6 of these squiggles, and then we create the beaks. And so, I don't know, in about 30 seconds, you probably drew, those 4 or 5 squiggles.
Yes.
Probably another 30, 45 seconds, you added the beak, the eyes, and the legs. So roughly in like 90 seconds, you drew 6 birds, or however many birds you drew there. Now, if I'd have just given you a blank piece of paper when you walk in the door and said, "Hey, I want you to go sit down and I want you to draw me 6 birds." That feels very different. So the idea is to kind of think of drawing in this way. Is I have an idea of a bird and I'm trying to talk about a bird or a topic and I just need to get it out. All I need to do is draw enough of it and add some pieces for me to identify what it is. It's not important that the bird is not beautiful. In worst case scenario, I tell people this. Worst case scenario, you still can use words. You can still, it just says bird. You can still
It's
lay.
not self-explanatory.
Yeah. And so that's the start of it. If you can kind of think of drawing that way, I need to get the idea out quick and I can just scribble something really fast.
Yes.
Can I add pieces to it to know what it is and move on? So now we can talk about migrations, or now we can talk about food chains, or now we can talk about, whatever it is, we can kind of have that conversation and students can kind of ground some of this new information they're learning in these like silly, simple drawings. I got this idea from Dave Gray. Dave Gray is another visual thinker and it was a strategy he used. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like for education, like educators. They get this. So yeah, that's one of the ways. It's just to make it approachable. And then I get into like using simple drawings. Even when I was teaching, we were talking about triangular trait in social studies. And so I would draw with the students my best island, Great Britain. And then I would draw, the 13 colonies. And then I would draw Africa and I would draw these lines. And so I was walking around the classroom, identifying, but helping students, what are we drawing? What's going on? Did you draw the routes? And this one young lady just drew circles, and she drew one circle that said Britain. She drew one circle that had 13. She drew another circle that had an A. She's like, I didn't need to know how to draw the continents. I needed to know our countries. I needed to know how to draw, where they were and what relation they had.
Proximity.
Yeah. And like
Brilliant.
being traded along those routes. And I'm like, yeah. So it's just kind of simplifying what it is you're talking about. It gives you something to latch onto. And if that thing goes in a direction or it is related to something else, I can draw an arrow, I can connect it, I can show you how that relationship matters or works. It's fascinating. It's
Well,
fascinating.
Jamie, can we see your birds?
Oh yeah.
Let's.
Get an
Oh,
orange
wait.
pen.
There you go. Look at that. Yeah, four.
They're cute.
Oh, those
They're adorable.
those look like Angry Birds. The Angry
Cute.
Birds, like the little big ones. Yeah. Pretty.
So
Look at that. 4 birds,
That's
9
good.
chickens.
I have 3. Then I have 3 extra in case you would tell me something else to do.
Yes.
We also do.
I love it.
We also do elephants. We'll do elephants for little kids because you just add the big ears and then the trunk.
Oh,
So it kind of looks like an elephant. But
Yeah.
this is another example of, I have an idea. I want to put it out. I'm not too busy, worried about drawing it perfect.
and it makes it accessible for everyone.
100%. I mean, I do this with
Yeah.
kindergartners. I've done this with adults.
From squirrels to birds.
Little kids are good. They love to draw. Little
Oh,
kids,
yeah.
it's like
They have no fear.
it's middle school where that kind of stops, and high school is where it's really a struggle sometimes.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah,
make it
yeah,
nice
yeah. Because
nice. You make it fun.
Yeah.
Make it exciting, and kids, kind of let their guards down a little bit. And now you're kind of, you're tapped in.
Not that great.
Let's
but
see,
I'm
Jamie.
through.
Oh, it's
The words.
I'll have to write elephant on this one, apparently. I'll write that.
And when we use drawing, it's also that I'm not trying to draw everything I'm teaching. I'm not trying to draw everything I'm saying. I may be just drawing a
right.
concept that we're just having a hard time with, or something I just want a point I'm trying to get across. It's not trying to capture everything. That's the hard thing about with sketchnoting, where you're trying to draw notes, using words
Yeah.
and pictures while listening. And sometimes it's just, you really should just get the big ideas.
Big ideas.
Not just,
And do the sketch note later.
yeah, and you can always go back and pretty it up, but it's hard to try to get all the details from everything that gets
Right.
said. One of the things that people would do is we're going to sketchnote a TED Talk just to get practice because they're only 10 or
Yeah.
15 minutes. But in 10 or 15 minutes with TED Talks, it's a lot of information.
Yeah.
It's a lot. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's okay to do a long, you practice it with a long talk because the information is spread out a little more. Those shorter
Right.
talks, people are just trying to hammer out information really, really fast. I like drawing with kids when they read books. That's fun because it's slower as kids are reading, as you're reviewing, you're recapping a story, going back.
Helps them do that mental
Mhm.
movie in their heads. Oh, well, actually, speaking of that, 2 things. One, I love how you also mentioned how you kind of use it as a hook to introduce concepts. I like that because it kind of eases students into a new unit or something like that. And it gives them this approachable way to visualize and understand concepts that they are going
Mhm.
to be encountering. I love that. But then also, I learned about, oh God, I can't remember what it's called. People who cannot visualize things in their head. It's a very small percentage of people, but actually 2 of our software developers at ClassLink have this.
Really?
Oh, really?
You can't picture
Yes.
things in
I can't remember the name of what it's called, but they can't see things in their heads. I think someone mentioned mentioned not being able to, or mentioned being able to do that. And someone said, wait a minute, what do you mean?
Interesting.
Picture. What do you They see concepts,
Mhm.
they do not see things. I even asked, so what about your kids? He said, no, I don't see their faces.
Oh,
I can describe what they look like,
interesting.
right? But I don't see their faces.
Oh,
No,
I gotta look up what it's called. So it
Really?
made me think, oh my gosh, all of these poor students. How many times do we say to a student, make this movie in your head?
Sure.
Think of this in your head. Where some kids really don't even understand that they can't do that and what that means. So fascinating. So I think it happens more than we think.
even
But I wonder how drawing, what the difference is with drawing with them too. I know this one person, he's great with drawing graphic organizers like that, pictographs,
Mhm.
things like that, because he said he sees concepts.
Mhm.
And that's why I find it fascinating. I was sitting at dinner with 2 people who are from our company, who are who are developers
fascinating.
and have this. Yes.
Can't see.
Yes. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So I think that is so.
Yeah, I
cool.
mean, it's got to be
Kids need-
helpful if somebody is creating that visual for them. It's
Yeah.
essentially that, they're all on the
Aphantasia. It's called aphantasia. Yeah. 2 to 4% of the population have this. So I think that's fascinating as a teacher to know that if your student is struggling in this area, this could be what they have. Now, this person didn't have this, didn't know about this until he was an adult. So went through high
I
school,
guess if nobody,
college, graduate. Yeah.
Right.
it's just what
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
It's just how I live. Yeah, it's not like interesting.
No mental imagery. Yeah. Conceptual thinking. So anyway, I thought that was fascinating. And I think, and I wonder how drawing would play a role or could play a role
I
in
mean,
this too.
I'd be curious if it would help or if it just
Yeah,
really
exactly. Me
throws
too.
their thinking off.
Yeah.
I know like
Yeah.
synesthesia is synesthesia where you combine senses, like people see like numbers look like colors.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Yes.
I love that.
So like I think I have this with time. I see time, like I see the calendar in my head in a big loop,
Okay. Yes. Yes. Me too.
and then it's divided,
No.
but the months aren't the same. It's almost like a strip of paper that's, what is it, the Mobius strip? You know what a Mobius strip is? It's like when you take a piece of paper and fold it and it makes like a loop. But that's kind of how I see it. But like, January and February are always really small. March gets bigger. The summer is wide. And then fall it's weird. Like I see them in different shapes. And like, as I'm living them, I can see myself. Yeah, it's weird. That's how I see.
Wow.
I've seen people dream, and I'm
That's-
like, oh my God, yeah, that's how I see time.
That's how I see it.
It's really good.
Wow. I kind of do that with the days of the week, but it's kind of like you said, like a strip. But then, like, that's so weird because like Saturday, Sunday's bigger,
Yeah,
and
like
you said summer is bigger.
summer's bigger, December is really small, and it loops back to January. So like, it's like nothing is happening on this backside. But as soon as December is
Wow.
over, we're up here, and January is kind of small. Yeah, it's been weird. I don't know.
That's so cool.
When I
That's
think
so
of
cool.
it here, I
love
think
that.
of where it falls on that visual.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
It's super cool.
Thanks.
That's where I am with the days of the week.
But
a little
perspective,
different.
that's another thing about drawing. Even when you draw things, everybody sees things differently. If you draw
Right.
a house, well, some people are going to draw houses differently. You draw people. It's interesting to see how people think and maybe how simplified they may take a concept. There's a lot of metaphors when you draw too. That's a lot of higher level thinking. When you're organizing information, especially like with sketchnoting, I may organize it in some kind of metaphor. And so, yeah, that's higher level thinking for a student because you want them to be able to do that eventually. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
a lot to.
Super cool. It's so fascinating. It really is. Now, before we leave, I do want to ask about the drawings on your arm.
Oh, my tattoos.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm assuming you designed them all.
I did not. I can't.
No.
I can't because then if I do, because like right now, for example, I will look at this book and I will tell you everything I did wrong about a drawing.
Oh.
Like, oh, I wish I would have done that on that drawing, or I wish, and that's for every. And so if I do it on my arm, I would probably like, I wish I would have done it like this. Whereas like I just leave it to the artist. I trust them.
Yeah.
Great. I don't know that I'll, maybe one day I'll do it on somewhere I can't
Wow.
see.
So interesting. I assumed you did all of them. That's so cool.
No, yeah, these guys,
It must be luxurious to have someone do it for you.
it is kind of nice.
Since that's-
It's just there. I got a guy. I got a guy. I just
I got a guy.
He comes and he tattoos me. Yeah, it's therapeutic. I enjoy it. But yeah, I think if I designed it myself, I would just look, I would look at it, wish I'd have done it.
Pick it apart.
Yeah,
The life of a perfectionist. Yeah.
Yes.
that's how it goes. We're our worst critics, for sure. And Jerry, you were
Yes.
talking. Was it? I think Jerry, you were saying earlier. Oh no, somebody was saying about artists, teaching. Oh, teaching Jerry. No, Jamie, you were saying, Jerry, why do you listen? You're an artist. You draw, but
Yeah.
you learn from each other. Like it is.
Yes.
No, I watch people who draw. I go on YouTube and I watch people who draw. And
I do too.
No.
I watch it all day.
That.
I've attended workshops where, illustrating, and yeah, it's fascinating. Like it just how people, their work process and how they do it and what they think when they're
Yeah.
doing it. It just helps you to kind of like, oh, I didn't think about it that way. So Because I feel
Oh, so a personal question for you. It's not real personal, but
I know.
what, so I see that you have your iPad in a special case, and I also want to know what program you use for your art.
so I have a couple. So usually
Yeah.
I draw my iPad in this thing. So I have a case, but the case is it's just a regular case, like it's just a.
Right.
But I like to put it into this.
Put it in-
When I put it into, sorry, I'm tripping them. When I put it into this, it'll set up like this, so I can draw kind of sitting up. I like that. This is nice. It just gives me
What is that piece called?
Sketchboard Pro. Sketchboard.
I might need that.
It makes a
Maybe
big,
you need it.
it makes a big difference. I think it's like $40, $50.
So it has a stand on the back.
Yeah, there's little legs that pop out.
Yeah.
And it's got different ways to adjust it. I can put them in different spots, so it can even stand up portrait if you wanted it to. It just helps me. It gives me more room. It's also up like this as opposed to me always drawing down.
Yeah.
Or, flat.
Yeah.
I would say 100% of the, well, say 100%, 95% of the time I use Procreate as the app.
Yeah.
The other 5% I probably use Fresco. It's an Adobe tool. It's free. I use that usually if I have to have things in like a vector format, because you can draw in vector, kind of like Illustrator, but this allows you to use a stylus to just kind of draw. It works almost just like Procreate. Right. But yeah, those are the two apps that I probably use. I love Procreate. It's like $10 and that's all you pay. There's no monthly anything.
Oh.
Which is nice. Fresco's free, but Fresco, if you are part of like Adobe bundle, you can get storage and stuff. I don't use it enough for that. But yeah, those are the two programs I use.
What do you use, Jerri?
So I actually use a note shelf. It's just very plain, very simple is what I use. But I do use my iPad, and I love to just draw on the iPad.
Yeah.
When I was illustrating the children's book, the publisher, she got very confused. She thought because I drew it on the iPad, it was AI. And I explained to her, no, this is smart from AI. This is not AI. So she made me sign all kinds of documents that said that this is not AI. And I'm like, of course I'll sign them, because no, this is
not. Maybe that was a compliment. She's like, wow, this is like really good work. I don't know.
This never worked with that before.
Sure.
So yeah, it was really interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, then I also just love my sketchbooks too.
Me too. I have, stacks of them.
Right.
I got my other ones right here. I like these sketchbooks and note cards.
I do cards too.
You do? Oh, yeah.
I used to draw.
I love them.
When I was working in schools, I would always have phone calls, and I would just sit and draw faces on my note cards just to listen. And
yes,
I covered my office wall. Like my whole office wall I probably had 100 of note cards taped to the wall of all these people's faces.
What's that?
And then when I left, I had all these note cards. Like, what am I going to do with these? And I had an art show at an art fair, and I just put them back up, and I let people take them. I was like, sure, if you want one, you can have like free art, just to take it. So
cool.
You got people to come in my booth and look around and grab little pieces of art.
Brilliant.
So yeah,
brilliant. That's so cute. It's so cute.
Thank you for listening. And if you would like to stay linked up, be sure to follow us on Apple and Spotify, and subscribe to us on YouTube.